So you remember how in this video right up here, I was saying that they will start stripping away divorce rights immediately. It immediately is happening right now. And we are watching it happening in real time in Oklahoma. Now, because I impulsively deleted TikTok as soon as it was said, like, oh, the TikTok ban is in effect, I immediately deleted it. And that was the app that I was using to like post the green screens and all that. So I can't do that anymore because I deleted it and you can't re-download it. If anybody knows how to like figure that out, I will not be posting on there. It's just so much easier to edit things. Please just let me know. But for now, you'll be able to read along right over here. Okay, so let's just dive right in. So this is called the Covenant Marriage Act of Oklahoma. And it is making it significantly harder for people to get divorces. And it's worded all like, there's a lot of legal jargon that's happening here. I will be showing you specific parts of the exact bill right up here, so that way we could read along and discuss together. And let's not forget, I know that within the United States there's a lot of jokes about like certain cities or certain states or whatever. It's like, oh well, like that's Texas, oh that's Florida, oh that's Oklahoma. What happens to any of us can eventually or will eventually happen to all of us. So with this in mind, hi, my name is Shayna. For those of you who are new here, I'm a journalist. I talk a lot about decentering men and child-free living. So if any of that sounds like a vibe, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're interested in starting your freelance writing journey so that way you can write for monies, there's information about like what this course is going to look like in my bio and in the description below. Now, for those of you that would like to read the entirety of this bill, it is Senate Bill 228 of Oklahoma. I will be linking that below, but I'm just going to focus on a couple of key points here. So we're going to start off right at the bottom of page 2 with the Declaration of Intent. Yes, now you have to sign a Declaration of Intent for your marriage. Both parties have to do this before it is considered an official marriage in the state of Oklahoma. Here is what the Declaration of Intent entails. We do solemnly declare that marriage is a lifelong covenant made before God. Yes, now the separation of church and state has always been an illusion, but it has it's gone. It's gone. Bye-bye. It was a cutesy idea, but now it's really just up in flames. We have chosen each other carefully and disclosed to one another everything that could adversely affect the decision to enter into this marriage. We have received premarital counseling on the nature, purposes, and responsibilities of marriage. Quick pause. The responsibilities of marriage? Why is the government, I mean, we know why the government is like actively injecting itself into people's marriages, but I really want to focus on the word responsibilities. What is something that we talk about all the time on this page that the government really wants to control that is a responsibility of married people? Reproduction. Now you might be asking yourself, who are the counselors that are acceptable under this law? Clergy people, pastors, and counselors. Now, who the state deems to be a worthy counselor is going to vary from state to state, but with how conservative Oklahoma is, I think we know who falls under that umbrella. Let us continue on. We have read the Covenant Marriage Act of Oklahoma and understand that a covenant marriage is for life. Continuing on, if we experience marital difficulties, we will talk about what are considered marital difficulties under this law in a quick second. We will dive into that. We commit ourselves to take all reasonable efforts to preserve our marriage, including marital counseling. Yeah, with this aforementioned people. So with full knowledge of what this commitment means, we hereby declare that our marriage will be bound by the laws of the state of Oklahoma on covenant marriages. And we promise to love, honor, and care for one another as spouses for the rest of our lives. Now, I want people to really get it. On the surface, I could see how some people can see this as like a cute thing or like a good-ish thing, but I don't see it like that. It really sounds like you are signing away your soul into a marriage for the state, for the government, a government that has made it very clear and known that they want you reproducing immediately, even if it causes you to die. This is also a government that understands that women are leaving their marriages in droves because of abuse, because of not feeling loved, because they don't want to be married anymore. You see how this is making it, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's move on to the second section. So section 4A, which is going to be around the bottom, starts around the bottom of page 4, talks about how you can get divorced under the Covenant of Marriage Act of Oklahoma. And we're going to go through these one by one. So let's start with the first section, right? So divorce in a covenant marriage shall only be granted if one spouse can demonstrate by a preponderance of evidence that the other spouse has committed one or the following acts. So once again, as I have said in this original video, it is now going to be on the person who wants to leave to prove to the government, a government that actively wants you to stay in this marriage, to stay in this contract, even if it means that you are unhappy at the worst, dead or dying. No, unhappy in like you understand what I'm saying. Now it's your job to prove to that government that you deserve to be freed of that marriage. So there are a couple of different ways that you can prove this to the government. One is by abandonment. The spouse has abandoned the petitioner for a continuous period of at least 1 year without justification, which shall include but is not limited to time in prison. That means that a man can marry you, abandon you, leave you. He's gone. Peace out, A-town down. And you have to stay in said marriage for at least a year and prove to the court. And also without justification. Now that also means that man can say, but I don't wanna. But I wanted to go on a hike in the Andes. I needed to find myself. I needed to go be a booga in another state, another country. I just didn't feel like living in the house anymore. Honestly, I just wanted to travel more. I needed to travel more. Without justification. Technically, if he says that, that's justification. So you need to be able to prove that there was no justification on his end for at least a year. And then maybe you could get a divorce. And also they said a continuous period. So if somebody's hopping in and out of your life, but you see them every 7 months, that don't count. That don't count. This is insane. Also, it says, but it's not limited to time in prison. Which also brings us to point number 2, abuse. Now, this is the kinds of abuse that they say justifies you getting a divorce. The spouse has committed physical or sexual abuse against the petitioner or their child. So many thoughts with this. One, it is just physical and sexual abuse. So if you are being financially abused, if you are being emotionally or mentally abused, that don't count. That don't count. This person that's hopping in and out of your life every 7 months could have full access to your bank account, to all of your money, or is finding ways to financially cripple you consistently. That don't count. That don't count under here. Best of luck, thoughts and concepts of prayers. Point number 2 under the section 2. You recognize how difficult it is for people who are abused. Generally do not report, because the process of reporting is traumatic on its own, if you are even believed. And a lot of and then for that to even go to trial, and then for you to get an outcome that benefits you, there's so few people that have that experience. In fact, while we're on this topic, I'm going to put all of the infographics right up here. But under RAINN, I'm just going to read. Under RAINN, out of every 1,000 assaults, 975 perpetrators will walk free. And also out of 1,000, we're just going to continue reading out of here. So out of 1,000 sexual assaults, 310 are reported to police. 50 reports will lead to an arrest. 28 will lead to a felony conviction, and 25 perpetrators will be incarcerated out of 1,000. Now imagine that you are stuck being married to that person because you signed a contract with the government. And then after all of these things have happened to you, you still have to prove to that same legislature that these things happen. They will question you. You are guilty until proven innocent, according to them. So you have to prove to them that these things have happened to you and that they are as bad as you say that they are, as you have experienced. And then they can still say no. Oh, but we also have one other. So here we have adultery. The spouse has committed adultery during the marriage. But once again, you have to be able to prove that. You have to be able to prove that. But then just to wrap all of this up, couples in a covenant marriage shall be encouraged to seek counseling in the event of marital difficulties. As mentioned above, marital counseling shall be required prior to filing for divorce. So you now have to be in the same space as the person that has been tormenting you for who knows how long, except in the cases involving abuse or criminal conviction, if you can even prove these things to the government, that to the state legislature that you are in. Counseling shall be provided by a minister, clergy member, or counselor. Now there is a gentle, it's not even a silver lining. There is a speck of a ray. I'm not even saying of hope, but this is your get out now calling. If you were in the state of Oklahoma, or you know somebody who is, honestly, let's forget about if you're in the state of Oklahoma. Hear me. People in the United States. This act shall become effective in July 1st, 2025. Did you know you have 30 minutes? Now is the time. If you are thinking about divorce, if you're like, I don't know if this is going to work, I think we need to separate. You know what? We might need some time apart to figure it out. Just get the divorce. And if you want to get married after this 4 years, if we even have elections anymore at that point, then do that. But get out now while you still can, because it's looking like you might not be able to very, very soon. I'm starting to get warm because it really only takes, yes, once again, this is happening in Oklahoma right now. When this law goes into effect, it is going to catch like wildfire. Oh, but our governor is different. Oh, but we're in a blue state. Oh, but these are all beautiful thoughts and ideas. At the end of the day, listen, I can't make anybody do what they don't want to do. I am encouraging you to make the safest choice for the longevity of your life. If you think that being with that booga is worth putting your safety at risk, then hey, this lady right here, 2 thumbs, my name's just Shayna. When I say be safe out there, I really want y'all to know that I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Be safe out there.